Hi, this is Kevin Conroy, and you're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
You've just jumped inside the pull bag. Join TFG1Mike and the rest of the comic reading crew here at the GCRN as they make their great escape into comics. From DC, Marvel, IDW, Boom Studios, Zenoscope, and more, we have everything you want to read right here. Transformers comics? Yeah, we cover that. He-Man? Yeah, sure. DC superheroes like Batman, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Batman Beyond? Yep, we have those too. How about TMNT from IDW and I Hate Fairyland from Image Comics? Yeah, we have all that here. Plus, so much more. It's all inside the pull bag here on the Geekcast Radio Network. So without any further ado, it's time to talk about the comics we are reading right now here inside the pull bag.
Alright folks, it is Batman Month 2019 here inside the pull bag. This is episode 349.5. I'm of course TFG1Mike. Joining me is JT from Saskatoon. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good God.
What's the matter with you?
A great many things.
Yeah. Well, you know, at least you're not brain damaged, literally.
Absolutely nothing regarding our personal lives in that statement, folks.
Who knows? I don't even know anymore. Listen to last week's episode. I screwed that up all kinds of hell in the beginning there.
Yeah, but we are traveling back to our favorite not Spider-Man 2099 allegory.
Yes, exactly. This is Neo Gotham, 65 years in the future, or whatever you want to call it. We are back to Batman Beyond Rebirth, written by Dan Jurgens. This arc has art by Will Conrad, Marco Castillo, and Mark Morales. David Barron with Will Quintana are the colorists, and Travis Lanham is the letterer. This is the Target Batman arc, so it's been a good 40-something episodes since we did the long payback two-parter way back in episode 314 and 315. Target Batman is the next arc, and what a twist. I was not expecting this, but decades from now, because, you know, they have to have it in every single issue. I understand they need to establish that it's the future. It's not currently going on. Target Batman is the story of Batman and Robin and Ten and Dana and Bruce, and the only thing that's missing is Ace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do we want to start with this one?
The fact that DC can't stop shoving the idea of 52 down our gullets every time they bring up a new comic and or TV show.
True.
Because decades from now, DC's still doing this shit, and we find Jack Ryder, the Creeper, has survived to the world, to the future of Neo Gotham, and he's a news anchor on News 52 in Neo Gotham. You know, they're not really writing. Like, there have been so many different characterizations of Jack Ryder over the years. They're writing him as a news reporter. That's it. He's not like some guy who's after the absolute existential truth. He's not some muckraking journalist. You know, he's Anderson Cooper.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to go that far. At least you didn't say he's Bill Maher, thank God.
Bill Maher can suck all the beep.
I was just going to allegorize him as the Peter Jennings of the news world, because you mentioned, you know, others, and I'm thinking, oh, well, he's not Tom Brokaw, he's not Dan Rather, then that must mean, if he's not NBC or CBS, that must mean he's ABC, and that must mean he's Peter Jennings. But yes, he is here. And this first issue in this arc basically has Scab, one of the Jokers, one of the main Jokers, basically shooting up the police station because he's afraid of the Bat, the monster Bat.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they named this guy, because I don't think they ever named him in the cartoon. but he's like one of the first Jokers we meet in the animated series. Is like, you owe me for that smile. I didn't smile. Yeah, you did. You know, getting all creepy and in the lady's personal space. But yeah, he's shot up some lab and that.
Yep. Yeah, so we have that going on in this issue. We have we go to the Wayne Manor and the Bat Cave with Bruce and Terry, and Terry's just finding out that Bruce enlisted little Maddie McGinnis as the new Robin. He's like, tell me you didn't.
And I love that toothpaste can't be put back in the tube, Terry. And I can only imagine Terry just gives him this look of death when he says that.
Yep.
And I love how with Matt flying and he's got his wings forward, his silhouette's kind of like the Batmobile with its the hood and all that. Although when you go that page back and you see the shot of Wayne Manor on the cliffs, it's like you might want to think about moving the mansion because I don't know that cliffside it's about 3 years away from falling into the ocean.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Terry is not impressed with Bruce, like, pulling his brother into this, and it's not your call to make. And Bruce is like, you really think there was anything else was going to happen? Like, think about our world, man. This shit happens all the time.
I mean, Terry does have a point because both his parents are gone at this point, and he is Matt's legal guardian. Technically, he has a point, but obviously Bruce is always Bruce, and he's always right. So, as we go further, Melanie shows up, and she and Terry have this moment, let's say, right as the wrong thing happens. Dana Tan shows up as she's trying to leave Terry a message. She just kind of walks through the gates of Wayne Manor. Like, where's your security, dude? This is why you need Ace the Bat Hound here. And she kind of walks down the driveway and sees, without them seeing her, she sees Terry and Melanie kissing. And that just kind of makes her walk the other way. Matt calls out to him, and it's an emergency. It's this, it's that, it's the commissioner, it's Scab shooting up the police station. So he's got to go do the bat thing. I love the up close panel, at least in Comixology guided view, how they close up on the panel when he says that I won't disappoint him. I love what Will Conrad and the colorists do for Batman's whole face, his scowl, his look. It looks so I love that look on him. That's so cool.
It's like I like how Bruce he doesn't straight come out and admit his culpability in all the crap that's happened to the rest of the Bat family, but he's like, that whole think about how this is going to play out. Either give him this chance now, or he's going to do it anyway and get messed up. And Barry's like, fine, through the grittiest of gritted teeth. Mm-hmm. And then I love that look of joy on Matt's face when they fly out of the Batcave. And he's like, yeah, greatest day ever.
Yeah, Batman and Robin are back.
And then you see how, you never would have thought, Terry, in the animated series and a lot of the comics, before this, had this very Spider-Man-like characterization. He's a little quippy. He messes with his opponents a little more. And in that, you're here to learn. Stay behind me and follow orders, Matt. And he's just like, Jesus, you are Bruce's son.
Yep, very much so.
And we get to the station, and Scab's got this officer still held at gunpoint, or civilian, as the commissioner says.
Yeah.
It looks like he's been down 10 miles of hard road while drinking nothing but rot gut whiskey, because even under that makeup, his face looks kind of jacked up.
Yeah, the page where he says the Bat is the devil. Everyone in his army deserves to die. Scab looks like a really, really beaten up drunk Santa.
Yeah.
He looks like Billy Bob Thornton on his worst day. Kind of bad Santa here.
No, he definitely, like you said, 10 miles of bad road and all that whiskey.
Yeah.
But, Matt goes to help Barbara, and Barbara's like, he did it again?
Mm-hmm.
And
He
then
did it again? You're Robin! Like, he says it so enthusiastically, and the look on his face
you almost
is
expect him to put his hands on his hips. The boy wonder.
wonder. Yep.
And then, of all the things you would expect Scab to pull out of his bag, I did not expect him to pull out the classic staple of 80s action movies and an Uzi.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everyone's got like sci-fi weapons in Neo Gotham, but you just didn't expect him to pull out something that just shoots lead.
Mm-hmm.
And then Batman takes him out.
Surprised to see me? A little. I'm more surprised that I lived so long.
Batman, Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, Batman. Or have you met?
Not now.
Great. What did they used to call it? Stereo?
We follow Jack Ryder's co-host, Miss Stern, to back to her apartment, and she's getting some coffee, going to work on something. The next thing you know, this demonic version of Terry comes out of the ether like the Phantasm, all like venom claws and teeth, and ready to swallow her soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to hear me say this a lot, folks. When Will Conrad and the colorists go to do the designs on the altered Batman and Robin of what people think they're actually seeing, the demonic versions of them, I swear to God, it's like Venom and Carnage all over again. Especially once Matt gets the new suit, and they have that image later. But yeah, that's how this first issue ends with her seeing demonic Bat. I love this. I remember when I first read this, I'm like, ooh, I can't wait until next time. Because, obviously these come out monthly, unless you do wait 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months for a trade paperback. I love the cover to issue 2. The Wanted Dead or Alive with the it's a combination of electricity in the bricks, I think, and obviously barbed wire. Like prison wire kind of thing.
Razor wire.
Yeah, razor wire. I love that cover.
Yeah, no, that's great. And you got like the holographic wanted poster, and Batman's got this look like he's concerned, but it's got this Charlie Brown-esque good grief quality to it. He's like
exactly.
He's like, son of a snapper, or however they actually curse in the future. Although I do like, because I've got some single issues here. I love the alternate cover with, I think that's Phil Hester art. Or no, something Johnson. Okay. But it looks kind of like Phil Hester art. And I like how it just kind of it's got this Blade Runner quality with the buildings and the Japanese kanji, neon signs. But when you look at the suit, it looks like it's something more cloth. Like this is more of a noir. It gives it kind of this more noirish vibe. Mm-hmm. It's just got this. It's like something out of the 1930s. He's got armpit glider wings. But yeah.
I've got the cover gallery in the back of the trade, so I'll be able to see all that stuff at the end of the show. So we start this issue off with Batman fighting the Jokers. And Harlette and all that, and Bat Monsters and everything else. The Jokers look cool here. I think that's interesting, and I love Batman's interior monologue. The Jokers have grenades. That's definitely not like them at all.
Yeah, and we get back to the mansion, and Matt's complaining to Bruce about Terry saying you can't be Robin anymore. Mm-hmm. Although I do like why'd you name your AI Alfred? And Bruce is like, long story.
Yeah, very long story. I do love that, we have that line, and I do love the AI bit. We then get a scene between Jack and Melanie, because Jack is apparently her sponsor for Criminals Anonymous or whatever whatever group or whatever therapy she's in. Like Jack is her sponsor. I think that's cool. Stern shows up, and no, it's not Howard. He retired years ago, folks. She shows up, and she's in trouble, and oh my god, the Bat Monster! Just, she sees his shadow flying by, and he goes to Dana's place and basically freaks her out because she hates it when he comes in as Batman, kind of a thing. So he pulls the mask off. Oh, it's you. It's just you, Terry. It's just you, and everything else. And they have this huge kind of fight.
It could have just been like an argument, but clearly there's something wrong with Dana, because all of a sudden he goes from, in her mind, Terry goes from being Venom to Spawn.
Yeah.
And is it racist that Dan Jurgens named her AI assistant Mulan? Maybe not culturally sensitive enough, but it's just like...
I don't know.
And would it be really racist if Mulan sounded like Ming-Na Wen?
Well, she's not doing much these days other than being an agent of shit, so...
Hey. Don't talk shit about that show, son.
That show sucks.
You suck.
That show hasn't been good even before season 1, episode 5, which is the last time I watched it. Oh, God.
Anyway, back on track.
Mm-hmm.
So Terry, he doesn't know that she's having like this mental breakdown of a sort right now, and he just thinks that she's really upset with him because of him kissing Melanie. So he's like, I'm sorry, and he pimps out. And then he sees that the entire town has gone straight to the 3rd level of hell.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's trying to kill Batman because they assume he's trying to kill them. He's a bat monster.
Although I love the one line in the dialogue. This made me laugh out loud when I first read the comic. It makes me smile now. This statue represents the heinous. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But he goes in, he rescues this little girl from the fire, and then, that freak tried to take my child. Shoot him out of the sky. Well, first of all, he just rescued your daughter, and he's standing right in front of you. So clearly everyone is sipping on whatever Kool-Aid the Joker's had.
Yeah, exactly. And what I love as this scene keeps going forward here, Barbara shows up. Civilians down now. You're in the line of fire. Did she say crap?
Yeah, and he's like, oh, piffle.
Yep. And that's kind of how this part of the story ends, is like the to be continued thing where Barbara's like, burn it, burn the bat. And his little thing, if that's the case, there's no way I walk out of here alive.
Yeah.
I think I guess it's because it happens in this next issue, but I think doing the Scarecrow cover with him kind of puppeteering for Batman, marionetting him, whatever you want to call it, I think that was a bit too on the nose for a cover for this next part of the story.
Or have a new villain strikes. I think it's like spoiling. This kind of spoiled like that reveal.
Yeah. And
this is a spoiler on the level of like the second trailer of Terminator Genesis showing John Connor got turned into like a nano Terminator. Mm-hmm. Like, I still don't like that movie, but would have been nice to not have like the biggest reveal, out months before. So then like, why watch the movie now? That sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Although I do like the image of, Scarecrow puppeteering and the strings being like code and all that.
Yeah.
And one of the characters, like I know when they did the animated series, talked about we're going to have maybe some analogs, but they're not going to straight up use any of the old villains. I really wish they would have used Scarecrow. I mean, you kind of got elements of that with Spellbinder, but
I mean, I liked that the old animated series used, fairly original characters for the most part. with Jurgens' run, both the 2015 series and this current Rebirth series has been going since 2016. I love what they've done so far. I love that they're constantly teasing the Joker thing. I love that they've used who they've used and how they've, like, using payback for the last art kind of thing and whatever. And Scarecrow here somehow being... It's still Scarecrow, but it's not Jonathan Crane Scarecrow. It's not Fear Gas Scarecrow. It's not crazy, dirty doctor, psychologist Scarecrow. Yeah. It's an all new, all different kind of Scarecrow, and it turns into obviously a mystery as to how this Scarecrow is manipulating the fear and whatever. And what's so funny is I'm cycling through the trade here. There's this, there's a scene where the Scarecrow is monologuing. Afraid, Batman? Good, because I like this. And you see the panel with the Scarecrow feet and the gun in front of him, kind of a thing. And it's I just wish that cover did not tease. And I didn't even notice the tech lines like you did on the cover with the strings, because I was reading this back again. I was like, how is Scarecrow doing this? How is this happening? So in the story, we get to a point of, after the fight, we get back to the Batcave, and obviously as the fight's going on, Terry needs help, and Bruce makes Maddie a new Robin costume, and it's more in line with the Batman Beyond costume, except it's Robin-esque, and it has yellow wings instead of red wings.
Well, I think some of the design, like you look at the R, this is, I think, very much inspired by the Tim Drake costume for Robin, whereas the last one, it was more like red, yellow, and black, which again is inspired by the Tim Drake 1 year later costume, where after Infinite Crisis, this timeline of all the comics was moved forward a year, that sort of thing. And they took away the green, which is, after Infinite Crisis, after his dad was killed by Captain Boomerang and all that. I'm really digging this new suit.
Yeah, I like the new Robin suit here more so than the previous one that he was using. We get to Jack, and he's at Adeline's apartment, and trying to figure out where she is and where she's going and what's going on, and he finds all these papers of hundreds of them. Isn't Batman? Like, what's going on here? The bat.
Got some beautiful mind level stuff going on here.
We get back to the fight where Batman is pretty much kind of trying not to fight, obviously, because it's now citizens that are trying to kill him. He's trying to save them and things like that. And the new Scarecrow is like, but you can free yourself, sweet child, with that. And has the little girl pick up the gun and fire it and all of that.
And it's kind of adorable in a way. And you see this little girl, she's got like an energy shotgun. If you've seen as many movies as I have, you've seen elements of this before. And she's like, monster, bad monster. And then, Robin shows up, and Batman is like, Bruce and I are going to have a long, loud talk.
Yep.
And then it's just absolute chaos. You see the Scarecrow in the background. Of course, Jack Ryder knows how to get into the Batcave, because investigative reporter, psychotic vigilante.
Used to be the Creeper.
Yeah. And they go over some... Sorry, you were going to say?
Well, I was going to say, and all I can think of is when Bruce flings the Batarang at him, and I'm like, ooh, Rob Zombie, Meet the Creeper, needs to play right here.
Yeah. That would have been perfect. And, they go over an old case of Batman. They realize that Bruce traumatized Adeline because, she, sent his dad to jail, and she was right there. And no wonder she thinks Batman's a monster. And Bruce is all like, but how does that help us today? Yeah. I love the art and the flashback. Oh,
that classic Batman look. I love that they did this. I love that Will and the colorists worked on this, and it's so cool. And basically, back to the blue background with white lettering for his internal monologue, and just looks so very, very, very like the one panel where he's up front with Adeline's father. He's like, "You snapped." He snaps the guy's wrist. I'm like, hey, it's Adam West Batman, but Adam West Batman with a heck of a lot less yellow on his emblem, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, this would be somewhere, in the 90s, like after No Man's Land or something, where, he's got the big pouch belt, like actual pouches, not like compressed containers like he had for so many years. And yeah, just the straight up black on gray bat symbol, and clearly, criminal scum. And he does like the hard, knife edge jab to the guy, and like probably crushes his larynx or something. And we get back to the right, and Batman and Robin are having their bat asses bat handed to them.
Yeah.
And you see this little girl, we must tear them apart, child. Rip the limbs from their bodies, strip the flesh from their bones. And gee, I wonder if that's a woman underneath the scarecrow mask. I guess we'll find out.
I mean, okay, so looking at the last panel here, and now that I see it more, obviously her left boob is hanging down as she stands there. Like, it's fairly obvious that it is a woman.
Yeah, and the designs, not so much design, but the color makes it seem something completely different from what we saw in the cover. Mm-hmm. Although when you said, you see the boob, like obviously there, all I could think of is that line from Robin Hood Men in Tights: "Blink and fix your boobs, you look like a bleeding Picasso."
Yeah. The funny thing is the cover for the next part of the, I think it's issue 23 here, with Batman and Robin like inside the ring of the WWE or UFC or whatever. The Scarecrow there is made to look male, and he actually looks like he has Robin Hood's tights on in this cover. I swear to God, the Scarecrow is wearing
kind of gothy ref thing going on, and they're in the boxing ring, just Rocky and Apollo going at it,
So this, 5 minutes, 21 seconds ago. So at least it's not decades from now. We already know that part. So Matt's in the Batmobile. He and Bruce have a plan. They're going to follow the plan. We get the monsters are here. The monsters are here. For the safety of those you love, kill them. We get the Scarecrow working on that. And I will say that throughout this whole arc and continuing on to the conclusion after this part of the story, I love how they have worked in the Target Batman and the creative into the actual part of the art and the story. I've always loved how DC has done that a lot of the time, but they've been really ingenious on how they do it here.
Yeah, and I love like the last panel with Scarecrow and the little girl, and she's like, "Ote." And then you see her there like smiling at us like, "It's Santa," and I was like, "Dear God, you're gonna need therapy, child."
Yeah.
But yeah, like Scarecrow is like leading this mob, and it's the entire city is basically turned into the raid zombies from 28 Days Later, and they're trying to murder Batman. And no, I will not stop with the bat puns.
Yes. I am going to go back to Spider-Man because I'm calling in more firepower before they destroy us all. This is the panel where Barbara says that, where I'm like, holy shit, Venom's on the left and Carnage is on the right. Because if you look at Batman and Robin, it looks
it's
very much Venom.
They're demons, or if you're dyed-in-the-wool comic fans like ourselves, you see symbiotes. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. And I like how Ryder and Bruce kind of break down the Scarecrows in a panel. They versus like a lot of other comics, which takes like half the bloody issue to break down a character's modus operandi, but they break it down in basically 5 sentences.
Yep.
And then that leads them logically. Okay, so Scarecrow uses gas, using the Batmobiles to find the gas. There's no trace. So how? Now they have to concentrate on how could the Scarecrow affect the city like this, if the Scarecrow didn't launch like a chemical attack, which I thought was a really cool. Again, in like 2 panels in like less than 10 sentences, they formulate a plan of attack, and they progress the story. Versus, this is another reason why I like the Batman Beyond comic, is Jurgens put some real analytical thought into, make it exciting, but make it make sense, and it doesn't seem so ludicrous. Like, it's actual detective work in a Batman story. My God, it's like Zack Snyder doesn't know what he's doing. Anyway, yeah, to get back, I do like the whole voodoo puppet, like full-on look of the Scarecrow. He's like, yes, that's the spirit, and got the rope noose looped around the neck. Like, I'm just loving this design. But yeah, Batman and Robin escape, using gas pellets, because that's how they do. Mm-hmm. And we go back to Bruce and Jack, and they're arguing over, Batman's operation.
Methodology.
Yeah. That's the word I was looking for. And I like that when the Batmobile gets back in bed. Hey, aren't you that guy on the TV? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh God, like Robin is nothing if not a bright shining light in the dark, dreary world of Batman.
Yeah, exactly. I love how, as Terry comes up to Bruce, is still in costume, obviously. Did I do something wrong? No, I did years ago. I'm like, Kevin Conroy, get out of my... Like, I heard Kevin in my head as soon as he said, no, I did years... I heard a little, oh God, it just, so much.
To be honest, I'm right there with you, but after I saw Spider-Man Homecoming and that awesome turn of Michael Keaton as the Vulture, sometimes my mind slips onto the other track and I hear Michael Keaton's Vulture voice coming out of this Bruce, which works.
I can't. I can't, because the sad thing is, all I can see the Vulture saying now is, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Yeah. But we like this. We go back to the Scarecrow. Scarecrow's got some tech to turn it up, increase the fear.
Yep.
Okay, the laughter's implied.
Yeah, obviously. And the cool thing about this is afterwards we get shots of every major Bat Beyond character and how the fear is affecting him. We get Barbara Gordon, we get Dana, we get Max. Only time she shows up in this. Melanie, obviously. And Melanie's like, what now?
Yeah.
Because she's not affected.
Yeah, for some reason. We don't know yet.
We don't know yet, but we will find out. Out of control, all of them. Like, everyone but me has lost it.
Yeah. And just as, like, kill the bat, grind his bones. Just this, wow. Mm-hmm. You just don't know people sometimes. Jack goes back to the studio and he finds Adeline. Mm-hmm. And it's going to get real interesting real quick.
Uh-huh.
Because Batman and Robin, they go and... they're on the way, and Commissioner Gordon has got a goddamn laser cannon.
Yeah, she does.
I love that whoever did it knew the codes to the shield tournament. It's a goddamn laser cannon, Bruce. Let it go. Mm-hmm. It's not like you don't have like 50 of the things tucked away in a garage in the Batcave. Like, be honest.
Yeah, really. So Bruce ends up getting affected. So does Maddie. And Maddie is like, I'm going to protect the city from you until you're dead. And look, the Beast is here. And we have all this fight between Batman and Robin. And
Bruce is starting to get affected.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one shot. It's not Venom. It's not Spawn. He's just like this. Basically, he turns into like, Gary Oldman Dracula from like the third act of the Bram Stoker movie with Keanu. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just this horrendous demonic looking bat. Batman's trying to hold Robin back. Robin royally kicks his ass.
Yes, he does.
And then Jack finds out that Adeline's the new Scarecrow, and it's this brief moment, like you see her, like she's starting to change, and it's still Adeline. Then she stands up, and it's literally in the space of a second. So, like, how did she change? You know, which is something it's almost like a Creeper-esque transformation for those that know the character.
Yep.
But we get on Batman. He loses his flight capabilities, and looks like it's going to be a very hard landing.
Yes, and that's how this one ends. This chapter, issue 23, I should say. Wow, this story is like, it's so cool. I remember when I read kind of like not the preview, but like in like issue 19 when they tease the next issue, I'm like, target Batman. Why would you want to target Batman? What did Batman ever do to you other than save you? And then Dan Jurgens comes up with this story and these reasons why Adeline wants to go after Batman, and how eventually we'll find out in the finale here in a moment how she became what she became, and it's just like, oh god, it's so good.
Yeah, and I like this first. Just looking here, Will Conrad's the artist on here, and there's some shots. Mm-hmm. It's not quite. Some of his shots here, some of his character design is reminiscent of another artist, Leonard Kirk, who I'm a huge fan of, and they both just have this style that, like, it's something I would call purely comic book. Like, it's just it nails it. It gets the right look, the character design, the lighting, the coloring. It's just mwah. It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
And I like, even as Bruce is like fighting against the effects of the fear wave, shall we say. Gas can't get in here. Maybe electronics has to be. Like, he's still the goddamn Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Matt snaps out of it and is going to go and try and save Terry, and 10 shows up, and now 10's on the list. Is like, save her, kill the demons.
Mm-hmm. I love the way she came in and saved him. That's one of my favorite shots in this entire thing. Coming in on the playing card, grabbing him. Yeah. I love that. That's so cool.
I like Bruce's like audio, visual, maybe both. In this day and age, there's no escaping that. Well, especially in this day and age, Bruce. Let's face it. Today or tomorrow, it's you can't escape. Society.
Mm-hmm. Come back tomorrow night to watch the Batman of tomorrow.
Yeah. You see, Terry and Mel kind of, reconvene, and then Matt shows up he's like, no, there's only one way to stop killer beasts like this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matt at this point reminds me of Little Normie.
Yeah, Red Goblin.
Little Carnage kid.
Yeah, that kid. Yeah, I just love that when we get back to Jack and Adeline. Adeline, you're the Scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that shot of Jack is like, don't even think of using your fear gas on me. Won't work. Used fear myself back in the day. And you get that kind of... She wouldn't see that, but, we know you're the creeper, but it's... That shot,
it's more for us than it is for the story. It's more for us showing I used to be the creeper.
Yeah, it's still one of my all-time favorite episodes of the animated series.
Yep.
With the creeper. But yeah, so she... gas was yesterday. It's all about technology now.
Mm-hmm. And we go more to the battle, and Terry has to save Melanie, and this is where we get the snap out where Matt sees his brother and not Batman, not a monster. And as I was reading it, it didn't feel like a quick wrap up, but as I'm just cycling through it, it does feel like a quick wrap up a little. I don't know. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, but I mean, you get the whole thing, like, first of all, and it's something I always asked in the Batman Beyond series. How many Batwings do they pack into the thing? Does it not weigh like 100 pounds every time they go out? Because Matt is just, it's like he's got the God code on. He's got unlimited ammo with all the Batwings.
Yeah.
Or Batarangs, sorry. Batman, goes to save Melanie, pulls the mask off, snaps Matt out of it. Around the same time, what did they do exactly? Oh, yeah. So Bruce basically uses the Bat computer to hack tech in Gotham.
Yep.
To filter the signal, and that snaps Barbara, out of it. And Bruce comes on and, he lays it out, being the big damn hero of the moment. And we get back to even Ryder's been affected. Adeline, he pulls the mask off, and he spells it out for Terry how she was traumatized so completely by seeing Bruce beat up her dad. And you never think about that, like, unless they write a story like this, you just forget about it. How many people has Batman, like, fucking broken mentally just by kicking the crap out of their loved ones? Like, not every criminal father is a complete bastard at home,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. We, like I said, wrap up here. Everything is all said and done, and everything's fine. We go back to Wayne Manor, where Terry basically says, "Oh yeah, by the way, Melanie's kind of part of the team now, and Bruce is not exactly thrilled with this." We get the information from Ryder about, Jonathan Crane, the original Scarecrow, and how someone who was an associate of his treated Adeline with Adeline's fears with technology derived from Crane's work, and obviously that made things worse.
And she took, like, I like how he says, use the treatments designed to help her and weaponize them.
Mm-hmm.
Which, is there anything ever good comes of trying to treat villains? No, not usually.
No. And the final pages here are of Adeline in Arkham. Batman, demon, devil, monster, beast. Hideous Batman. Batman is a monster, isn't he? When I get out, I'll be happy to deal with him for you. Dun, dun, dun.
Gee, I wonder who that is. I guess we'll never know.
Until the final joke later this year.
Yeah.
So on Me on the Trade, we get the cover gallery. The first cover is Batman and Robin. It is done from number 20 variant, done by Shane Davis and Will Quintana. We get Batman number 21 variant cover by Dave Johnson. This is the one where he's going down the building in Japan, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one you said you liked.
That's the one.
Yeah, very, very cool. My favorite is number 22 variant done by Dave Johnson. It's basically Batman punching through reality, it looks like. It's like this white thing with the giant bat symbol through buildings, and very, very cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I'd say 21 alternate cover and 24 alternate cover by Johnson. And I realized it wasn't quite Phil Hester. This looks like Darwin Cook art. And Darwin Cook always had this style. It's very much, his work was rooted in Silver Age, thick lines, very, not, when I say stock, like, just, it's simple but effective in the design. Like, you look at the alternate cover for 24 where Batman's standing on the bat signal, and it's like that column of light, and it's just simple, it's striking, that sort of thing.
Very, very cool. I love this story. I love the art. Will Conrad is an amazing, amazing artist. I love how each one of the Batman Beyond arcs is done by a different artist. I think that's a good idea to not necessarily differentiate the book, but to have an artist be able to put his own spin on certain things. I love that. This story was fantastic, I thought. Yeah.
No, this is definitely my favorite. It's up there in my favorite arcs since the... Oh, God, what was the one with Damian and the sentient suit?
Oh, jeez, that's...
It was a while ago. But that arc and this one are two of my favorites in this series. I mean, you know us folks, we both love Batman Beyond so much, but in this series alone, like, Dan Jurgens just keeps knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, he does.
But yeah, can't wait for the next time, man, because the next time, it's going to be a laugh.
Yep.
Foreshadowing.
Yes, absolutely. Coming up here inside the pull bag for the rest of Batman month, Ryan, the Uneven Flow Merkley, is going to join me to talk about Paul Dini's Dark Knight, A True Batman Story. JT will probably be back to talk about a different Joker story. We're going to head back to Batman Volume 7 from Scott Snyder's run, Endgame. This was when he came back in Snyder's run after Death of the Family. I'm not sure about this, but Movie Revolt Dan, aka the Comic Concierge, will probably be back with me for the first Tom King run, which is I Am Gotham. And then somebody, I don't know, hopefully a Batgirl fan, I don't know, whoever it's going to be, will be on Stephanie Brown Batgirl Volume 1. And that's pretty much Batman month for this year. We may do a live top 10 Batman favorite characters kind of thing, but I don't know about that yet. I may change that, I'm not sure. I wanted to do that because I figured, oh hey, this is the 80th anniversary and everything else. So, where can the people find you online, sir?
You can find me on the Comic Connoisseurs podcast, along with Ben Carver and Red Ink. We talk about everything in and around and involving comics. Sometimes we agree. 98% of the time we argue and bicker and talk over each other. And you can also find me on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at JT from Saskatoon.
Absolutely. I'm at TFG1Mike on Twitter. You can find the Pullbag and Geekcast Radio on Twitter as well. Make your great escape into comics. Celebrate 80 years of Batman with us as we hit our 350th episode next time around. Make your great escape into comics.
All it takes is one bad day.
Sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off. That's my bad, folks. And yes, that was the Power Rangers ringtone, not Kim Possible. We follow
It would be a little creepy if it was Kim Possible.
What's wrong? I love that show. Anyway.
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pullbag, the GCRN's first comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate and leave a review for the show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Become a fan of us on Facebook, facebook.com/thepullbag. Send us an email, feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at thepullbag and at geekcastradio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.